Well, let's return now to the situation in Victoria. I'm joined by Laura Jeffery. She is a resident of Avenel, which is close to the towns of Ruffey and Longwood. Laura, thank you very much for speaking with me this evening. I understand that you're still at home, but several of your friends have evacuated.
They have. There's been a bit of confusion in the township of Avenel about whether to evacuate or not, and I think a lot of people just made the choices that were right from them. The blaze, the Longwood fire, is actually over the Avenel area as well, but Avenel's bisected as Longwood is by the Hume Freeway. So we're on the east side of the Hume, and I feel safe in our house. I did actually go to Melbourne today to get my mum because she's just arrived from Canada. But I'm back at home now because I just need to be here to support our community and be here for my husband when he gets home.
Of course. We've been hearing such grim news coming out of Ruffey and Longwood, which, as you say, are there, like right there where you are. How are people there in your area feeling at the moment with everything that's been going on?
It's awful. I mean, in these situations, the community shows its true colors, and it's been breathtaking, the support and the help that's been provided. My husband's out fighting fires on his family property with individuals from our community, locals that have no reason to be there, no connection to the land, and are just there to help. And the spirit that is shown in these events is absolutely staggering. The Strathbogie Shire Council has been running an amazing response operation, and everyone's being supported, but there's a lot of fear. We haven't seen devastation like this in this area. My husband's family have been, our children are actually the 6th generation on the property, and my father-in-law, who's never lived off the farm, has never seen devastation like this, and he was a big part of the 1969 fires. They've lost almost everything on their property, which spans about 5,000 acres, except they've saved a few houses. And they've saved those with hoses and electric pumps. It's just utter devastation. It's going to be very traumatic. So the whole region is going to need a lot of support, not just financially, but to support the farmers that have lost the land that they put their blood, sweat, and tears into day in and day out. It's absolutely heart-wrenching what's happening here, but in town we're safe.
Our thoughts are with you during such a troubling time. I'm very sorry to hear all that news. You mentioned that your husband Scott was out there battling these fires. He's actually the mayor of Strathbogie Council. What's the latest that you've been hearing from him?
I've heard that he and the crew that he's working with have worked hard to save a few buildings. His greatest concern today was his parents, who were in the Falconvale Valley, and they're without power, water, or any mobile phone service or landline. The landline was burnt through this morning, and he got to the top of the hill, which had burnt out, and saw smoke at their place. And so he immediately went to see if he could help them. And then I didn't have contact with him for 6 hours, and just got a text a few hours ago saying that they're alive and that they've saved the house, but that there's a lot of devastation and that it's a complete disaster area. They're saving as many animals as they can, and people, but I'm waiting for him to come home shortly, hopefully for a quick rest and respite, and then he's going to go back out to continue helping. His brother dozed fire breaks around another house on their property that he lives in at 3 a.m. this morning, and so far we understand those two have held, and so his brother saved his house. Another brother saved his house with a fire hose, or a hose in their backyard, just as the windows were smashing from the heat and the flames. It's just been utter devastation. And other friends of ours in the area, that Fowles Winery, they lost their vineyard and nearly their house. I understand it's been saved. The Elgo Winery, we've got beautiful wineries in the region. People that put their entire livelihoods into caring for the land, into feeding Australia, are just losing everything, and it's devastating.
Mm-hmm. Talk us through, like earlier today for you and for other people there in your area, what kind of logistics were in place and what kind of the things were people doing to prepare for these conditions?
I think a lot of people wisely left early. We're in a very high bush rated or highly bushfire protected home. It's a new build to the highest standard, and it's all green around us. And we're in town, so I want to reiterate that I'm not taking risks with our lives. I strongly feel my children and I are safe, but a lot of people made the right decision for their family to leave before the conditions turned catastrophic today. There's been an amazing response, a relief center set up in Seymour, which I understand has been very well attended and very well run by a lot of volunteers there, the Strathbogie Shire Council and the Mitchell Shire Council. My brother-in-law, Ned Jeffery, is also a councillor on Mitchell Shire, and he was the one that was saving his house today with a hose, and one other individual with him. So a lot of people in this region wear multiple hats, as they do in country towns, and we've got leaders in our community out on the front lines. And I think there's probably no greater demonstration of leadership. But I will say that Deputy Mayor Claire Ewart-Kennedy has done an absolutely amazing job keeping the community informed and keeping the response center and the relief center running, and handling the media inquiries. So we've felt informed, we've felt supported, and there's just been a lot of concern and a lot of outreach happening over here.
Laura, you mentioned that you're a native of Canada. You've been living in Australia for some time now, but these conditions must be a far cry from those up north.
They are, and it's almost polar opposite. I actually moved to Australia from Yellowknife, where I was living just south of the Arctic Circle, and I moved to Australia, arrived the day before Black Saturday, actually. So I left temperatures of -45 in Yellowknife and arrived to +46. So it was a 90-degree difference. And that day, my husband picked me up and we drove up the Hume, and we took shelter at the farm, and we waited all day not knowing if the fire would come to us. And I was just pelting my father-in-law with questions about bushfires and what was going to happen and how we knew we were safe. But I've learned a lot in the 16 years that I've lived in Australia about bushfires and safety. But for my mum arriving from Canada yesterday and seeing what she's seeing on the news, it's very distressing for her, not knowing about our safety. So I had to go collect her so she could be with us and understand that we were safe. But it's certainly conditions that I couldn't have dreamed of, and in my worst nightmares. And a lot to learn. So I'm keeping myself out of the front line of fire, so to speak, and my kids as well.
So Laura, finally, what will tonight likely involve for you now? It's obviously a lot of sitting and waiting and things like that, but how's the night likely to play out for you and for other people in that area?
I mean, the fire's still raging. A lot of our family farm has been burnt out, but we're still dealing with spot fires and trees that are on fire that could cause further fires. So, as I said, Scott's coming back for a brief respite, and then he's going back out to continue to fight with his parents through the night. His brother, Ned Jeffery, will be on the southern end of their property, continuing to fight for his land down there. He's still got his personal farm and buildings and farmhouse that he's trying to save. And so the fight is going to continue into the night tonight. Just hoping that everyone out there gets a bit of rest.